Hello everybody, welcome back to Growing in the Cove. My name is Stacy and welcome back to my greenhouse. I was really hoping that I would be making this video outside, however the weather has not been fit for me to do that. It's now April the 28th, but the cold seems to be holding on and it doesn't want to let go. So I'm looking into the forecast and I'm really hoping that we're gonna see some nice spring weather in the next week or so. So today's video, I'm going to show you what I've been up to and some things that I'm going to be doing in the next few days. First of all, if you do have a greenhouse, I highly encourage you to use it like a giant cold frame. So it may be too cold for a lot of these things to go outside. We're still having nights where it goes down to -2, -3, but inside your greenhouse, it's actually a zone warmer. So even though it gets really cold in here, and I have a thermometer which is collecting all that data, it's probably only going down to maybe about 0. And if you have cold hardy annuals, which I'm always going on about how they're some of my favorite flowers, or vegetables, you can absolutely put them out in your unheated greenhouse and use it as storage and extra grow space until they are ready to go out into the garden. So I have a lot of things in here. I have some lettuce, which is looking fantastic. This will be planted out in the garden, I'm hoping for sometime in the first week of May. Things like lettuce and hardy vegetables like spinach and bok choy and arugula. What else do I have in here? Things like mustard and mizuna. All those can actually go in the garden 6 weeks before your last frost. So I consider our last frost here to be about mid-June. There are always those years where we get a random frost on June 23rd, but I like to go by basically the average of it being around the middle of June. I usually say around June 12th. I know some people are more cautious than that, but if I use that as my benchmark, that would mean that about May 1st, I'm good to start planting out some of these things into the garden. So I've got some lettuces. I've got some Swiss chard, which will be going out in the garden soon. I've got some cilantro, green onions, leeks. I've got foxgloves. I've got some gorgeous snapdragons, which are just loving it in these cool temps. So basically that's my first PSA, is that if you have a greenhouse, you can absolutely put some things out here without any protection. If you are nervous about it, you could put some frost cloth over them for the first few nights, but otherwise they are totally hardy enough to handle the conditions of the greenhouse. That is to say, if it's anything that is a warm season annual or vegetable, definitely don't put it in your greenhouse. This is not the time to put your tomatoes and peppers and eggplants and your sunflowers, zinnias, cosmos, all those warm weather plants. This is not the time to put them in an unheated greenhouse. It gets much too cold at night. So if you have a greenhouse, definitely think about moving some plants out. For me, it makes a lot more room on my grow racks, and I can actually focus on my warm season things inside, and I can take care of a whole pile of plants quite easily in a space like this. Just to give you a look at how all of my trays of veggie starts are doing, they're doing amazing. You can see in here I've got some kale, I've got red Russian and dino kale, I've got broccoli starts, cabbages, calendula, mizuna, green onion, full tray of violas. I've got my sweet peas, I've shown you my snapdragons. And over here, everything is looking great. I've got some cilantro, parsley, sweet williams, trays of larkspur. Everything is looking fantastic and it's all very happy. Look at this amazing pansy. Gorgeous. I love this color. I've got black-eyed Susans, just to name a few examples of things that I have happening in the greenhouse right now. I've also direct seeded some crops in here, which you can absolutely do. I've got some radishes, arugula, I've got purple mustard, and some turnips. These are short season turnips. I think they only take about 40 days. So just trying to get the most use out of my greenhouse as I can. And all my crops in this raised bed are looking amazing. The spinach, I cannot wait to get into. Mizuna's looking great. Bok choys are looking great, although I do have something eating things, but that's a part of it. The lettuces are starting to bulk up a little bit. And of course, my ranunculus look great. I've had a few people reach out to me about ranunculus that they're growing. So first of all, thank you for watching my videos, and I'm so happy that I've encouraged some people to grow this beautiful flower. It is so worth the effort. But I have had a few people ask, can I plant out my ranunculus? And the short answer to that question is yes. So ranunculus can absolutely go out in the ground 6 weeks before your last frost. So that would be around May 1st. So for me, if you want to go ahead and plant them outside, they can absolutely handle it. And in fact, ranunculus can handle temperatures down to -5 degrees Celsius. So they will be absolutely fine. I wanted to show how I've planted this grouping of ranunculus that I started on camera a few videos ago. I purchased this large grow bag from the dollar store for I think about $5. Very affordable, and I filled it with potting soil. And I did plant about 30 ranunculus in here. I plant them really close together because you want them to be kind of smushed in together, and that will force them to grow longer stems to try to get to the light. So mine are planted, I would say, about 4 or 5 inches apart. Some are maybe closer than that, but they'll do absolutely fine. So if you're looking for an idea of where am I going to plant these ranunculus, because they will have to be dug up around the end of July or middle of July, depending on when they shut down, and then you can save your corms for next year. If you have them in a planter like this, it's going to be really easy for you to dig up your corms. So if you have ranunculus, you can absolutely put them out in your greenhouse. And I would say during the 1st of May and onward, you can absolutely plant them outside in your garden. I'm also going to be starting some warm season annuals today. I actually already started around 2 weeks ago, and I started marigolds and some annual salvias and some vines. I started the hyacinth bean vine as well as the black-eyed Susan vine. So if you want to start anything like that, I would totally encourage you to get that started now. As I said, we're in around that 6-week zone before last frost. So here's what I'm starting today. I'm going to be starting some Mexican sunflower, also known as Tithonia. This is beautiful. I grew this last year. It gets really big and it has orange flowers, but it looks fantastic with when it's covered in butterflies because the pollinators love it. I'm going to be starting some amaranth. I have 2 kinds. This is such a unique flower. This one's amazing. It kind of has these dreadlocks of, I don't know, I guess they're blooms, seed pods, I guess. But amaranth is so pretty, and you can dry this flower. I'm also going to be starting a whole host of cosmos. Cosmos are a super easy annual to grow, and I grow them every year. They make great cut flowers, and they look beautiful in a garden, or if you have a cutting garden, or even in a vegetable garden to attract some beneficial insects. So I've got, this is one of my favorite, the double click cranberries, white cupcakes cosmos. These are some of my favorite. They literally look like they're in little cupcake liners. And I've got another double bicolor violet. I think, Oh yeah, I have one more, and that is apricota. I grew this one last year and it has this amazing two-toned effect. Beautiful. I'm also starting this ornamental grass, which looks like little fireworks, and it's called Panicum Sprinkles, also known as frosted explosion grass. Got another Cosmo here, and I'm also starting some nasturtiums. So now is a great time to start these things. With nasturtiums, you actually don't have to start them indoors. You can absolutely just take the seeds and stick them right into the soil once it warms up, but I do like to start some early. If you're wondering when I plan to start other warm season annuals like zinnias and sunflowers, I'll be holding off until about the middle of May. The only reason for that is because they grow so fast that I'm going to have giant seedlings to deal with long before they go into the garden. If the dates that you follow for seed starting are different than mine, that's okay. I just want to say that I hate when there's gatekeeping in gardening, and there's a lot of content these days and a lot of gardening TikToks and reels where people are saying you have to do it this way or you have to do it that way. And I think gardening doesn't have to have such strict rules. The only reason that I tell you this information is because I know I'll get questions of people asking me, especially local to me, when are you doing this? So that's why I give this information. But at the end of the day, gardening is a journey and there is no one way to do it. So I hope your seed starting is going well, and thank you for taking a little look around the greenhouse with me today. Hopefully we're going to get some nice weather soon, and until next time, take care. Bye now.